All right, boom, back with another one, and we're gonna be talking about Scopper versus Luffy, the full fight. My boy, All Father Silver, just dropped the video. He dropped it a few days ago, but I was busy working on wedding pictures, so I couldn't do a review on it then, and I didn't want to watch it till I came to do a reaction to it. So today we're gonna be reacting to Scopper versus Luffy, and this was a very interesting fight, although it was very quick. It showed and told a lot about one, how much Luffy has came, how much Zoro has grown, and also how strong, just a peek into how strong Scopper really is. And I'm sure bro's gonna pinpoint everything, and we're gonna watch that and chop it up throughout the video and at the end of the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it, and I'm gonna go grab me something to roll up, and I'm gonna roll up while the video is playing, and we'll go from there. Yeah, I mean, so let's get it. Boom.
Versus Luffy, what actually happens? So I think it's very clear, it should be very obvious to anybody that's coming into this without agenda colored glasses, that Luffy's not taking this seriously by any stretch. He basically says, how come we have to take the key from you? Just give it. He's in gag mode, where Gaban replies with, what's wrong, you can't do it. And then Luffy's like, okay, that's it. Jumps off the hand of Road and dives down to try to snatch the key. And when he tries to snatch the key, you can see his face. Like I said, it's like kid gag Luffy mode. Gaban's easily able to evade the grab, to which Luffy lands and says, listen, old man, I just want to get to Loki so I can come back and feast again. And Gaban's like, what's the problem? Just take it from me then. And Luffy's like, all right, I will. Goes to try to grab it again, and Gaban jumps up this time. But this time when he jumps up and dodges out of the way, he loads back an attack, hockeys up the key, and gets prepared to slam down on Luffy. Now in this instance, it's even more clear, like Luffy didn't even expect this man to use haki, as he was surprised. He's like, haki? He didn't say conquers haki, he just said haki, as Gaban loads up haki on the key and slams down on him. Now what this reminds me of is like a Looney Tunes type moment where the character's just like looking up completely surprised, and they get smashed by whatever is gonna fall on them, like an anvil or something like that. But you do see the lightning crackling on the key, both when he's loading it up and when he lands it on Luffy. Now some people believe that 100% means it's advanced conquerors. Just want to make this extremely clear. No sound effect you see in One Piece is going to confirm advanced conquerors. Okay, ZZT, Zap, Z-Zap, they actually are all the same thing in most cases in the actual Japanese katakana. It's just this symbol right here. Ulti has the same symbol. Law is the same symbol. Blackbeard has the same symbol. So there's times and showcases when it's used in context where characters do not have advanced conquerors haki. Now, am I saying that Gaban doesn't have it? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that this doesn't confirm it by any stretch. And to be honest, since this attack lands on Luffy, and Luffy doesn't take any damage whatsoever, it wouldn't be the best look for Gaban if he just smashed Luffy with an advanced conquerors attack and it did nothing to him. Now, like, there's some scuff marks potentially on his cheek and his arm, but like it's not like actual damage. Then you have a situation where like Luffy gets right back up, he's still in gag mode, he's like, rah. Now there's a couple things I want to point out. One, the expressions on Luffy's face before he gets hit by this, when he's going to grab something, when he gets up after getting hit with this, and as we continue on, there'll be even more. They're in line with complete gag. So I keep saying that, but you might be like, well, is he just making it up that's a gag? No, there's a consistency in One Piece that whenever there's like a false sense of somebody being mad, or whether it's over something dumb, or if it's not like super serious, it'll look like this. And there's countless examples of this throughout the series, as well as Luffy when he's confused or like nervous in an unserious manner. So that's the whole frame of this fight, like to a T. As Gaban says, that's a nifty straw hat you got there. It'd look better on you than the helmet, I bet. Then, of course, Luffy explains he's holding on to the hat for Shanks, to which Gaban calls Shanks a cheapskate for not just giving him the hat outright. Luffy does try like a Gatling style grab at this point, where he's just repeatedly going after Gaban with grabs, to which Gaban reacts and evades all of Luffy's grabs. He actually, in the midst of it, while calling Shanks a cheapskate, gets Luffy to get a little bit pissed off, and he says, no, dummy, that's not what it means. Don't call Shanks a cheapskate. You have no idea about him. Now, as Luffy's saying this, Gaban chuckles and then smashes Luffy with the key straight to the mouth. Now, in this context, again, I think it's more so in line with the fact that, like, Luffy, again, is not really expecting much from this old man, which is a little bit weird because Luffy should kind of sense, like, when somebody's strong. But Gaban might just be harboring really no ill intent. He might even be able to mask his presence similar to what the Holy Knights can do, given that he sensed them when they were supposedly able to do this. Luffy didn't sense anybody on the island. Zoro didn't sense anybody on the island. We know that they were able to sense like the Gorosei markings all over the place and Kizaru and all these other things. So it is a bit odd that they didn't sense him and Gaban did. Perhaps maybe he's able to mask like how strong he is too. With that, Gaban does hit Luffy with this attack. Some could argue that he's like blitzing Luffy here as he's evading all his attacks and then slamming through Luffy. I think what's really the point of this is that, Luffy's not taking it super serious and he really is just like confused as like how strong this old man is. He wants the key. Gaban now just got a rise out of him with the Shanks comment, and Luffy's like pissed off about that, thinking about that, then boom, he gets hit with the key. And for technicality reasons, we have a precedent set for this. When you get agitated or riled up or your mind, goes to something else, it affects your observation haki directly. This was a big part of the Katakuri fight. We also know from Kaido that you can turn on Future Sight whenever you want to use it. You don't have to use it all the time. Something that you basically kind of control based on what you want to be doing. Observation haki's been something that's been able to be bypassed ever since the inception, even from mantra in Skypiea. If you're too overconfident, you let your mantra down, you're distracted, your mind slips away for a bit. Being tired is even one of them. So that's why it's always like really dumb when somebody says, well, he has observation haki, doesn't he? When if you actually read the story, there's a collection of evidence explaining how off guards can still transpire, why they transpire.
Yeah, I don't understand how like people that read manga and watch anime can make those like
Takaru, it's going to be
not make
a
those
named attack at
distinctions.
this point, a slicing attack, and yet another gag panel from Luffy where he is shocked at what is coming at him. Zoro, on the other hand, is standing off to the side. He witnesses Gaban loading this attack up, screams out, "Look out, Luffy." Zoro does react to the attack, does block part of the attack, and Luffy reacts and dodges part of the attack. After this, you see some of the aftermath as the attack slams to the outside,
Which was
and
crazy.
Gaban remarks that Luffy has a good crewmate in Zoro. At that point, Luffy goes Gear 5, and Zoro starts coating his swords in haki, and they prepare to attack Gaban in a serious manner. As Gaban remarks, indeed all white, referring to Gear 5. As Luffy says, "Let's go, Zoro," and Zoro says, "Yeah." They load up these attacks as Zoro screams out, "You're gonna get it now." And this very interesting glint appears in Gaban's eye. It's very similar to the glint that you see in Kizaru's eye, which makes sense because Kizaru is obviously the light man. But I don't recall us ever seeing something like this in somebody that's not Kizaru. And you see a glint in his eye, to which he then says, "I yield," before Luffy and Zoro's attacks can land on him, and they pull back at the last second.
I think that moment was him using Future Sight
because they didn't want to hit him after he surrendered. Obviously, is it potentially a situation where he used Future Sight there? Could the glint thing be now a Future Sight?
That's what I believe personally.
But rest assured, Gaban saw what he wanted to see in this moment, as it's revealed later that Shanks had talked to him about Luffy, talked to him about potentially disclosing some kind of information to him, and Gaban said, "And I'm just supposed to trust him," and then Shanks said, "Do what you will with him." So Gaban was testing Luffy for his own reasons. He saw what he wanted to see. Is this potentially a level of strength that he wanted to see? He wanted to see the all-white form, wanted to see how Luffy would react to things. Whatever the reason, he gave them the key. As I said, I don't take this as Luffy being super serious, but Gaban did get some feats like we can't discount. He is fast enough to continuously react to base Luffy. Luffy did probably get more serious as it continued on. So I do think that it's somewhat of a feat for Gaban to be able to react to base Luffy, be able to land attacks on him, despite the fact that, Luffy's really unsuspecting. Like I said, he was unsuspecting that Gaban was even going to be able to use haki. And they highlighted specifically like Zoro was the one that was kind of like the mind of reason here, because he thought back to Colin saying, yeah, my dad's pretty strong. He's able to hold his own with the Giants, which is major downplay. Like, this guy just kind of like conceals himself. So Zoro obviously knows that this guy's probably stronger than he looks, but Luffy's, a little bit more on the dumb side. So he didn't pick that up. Zoro got the reaction feed to him. Luffy didn't take any damage from the guy. So I don't think it's a downscale really for Luffy. I just think it's unserious based on Luffy. If it was Gear 5 and Zoro, they were going to crush him. Now, I don't think that Gaban's necessarily going all out either. He makes a remark like, "And are you dead?" after they accuse him of trying to kill him, and just flat out says that he was joking. It's doubtful he was really trying to kill them, especially knowing this is somebody that's close with Shanks. It's supposed to be a test at the end of the day. I think he had every intention of giving them the key. But I do think that the axe attack at the very least was a serious attack. we'll obviously have to find out if he has something even stronger in the works. But I don't think he'll be stronger than Rayleigh. He's not going to be stronger than Luffy at full power. The rest, we'll have to wait and see. My honest opinion is that if somebody was to try to argue that Gaban's over base Luffy after these showings, I think it's extremely disingenuous for all the reasons I really mentioned prior. It's very unserious. Luffy never showed intent to throw an actual attack at Gaban, no named attacks. He's not actually even trying to hit him. He's trying to steal a key out of his hands, which is a much higher degree of difficulty than just landing a strike on them for one. He wasn't expecting Gaban to be throwing attacks back. He was expecting this to be just your average old man, right? With that said, he's not damaged ever. He doesn't use like gear 2 and 3 like he usually does. Even now in Elbaf, they've gone as far as to show us he can use gear 4 in base. So all these things could have been done at any point if Luffy actually wanted to fight. The only thing that people may bring up is like, oh, well, why did he go gear 5? Well, part of it is because of the plot where Gaban needed to see the white form that was going to be highlighted by Oda. And also because, like, at that point, Gaban had just agitated them to the point where it's like, oh shit, he might actually be trying to kill us. Like, that last axe attack was something serious. So Luffy's like, alright, you want to be serious? Let's be serious. And he was actually going to go throw a real attack at him for once. That's why Zoro steps in. So there's a reason he backs out of the fight right when they're actually going to fight him back. And by no means does it mean, like, just because Luffy went into gear 5, he needs gear 5. Luffy went gear 5 for the damn snake earlier in the arc. Did he need to go gear 5 to beat him? Hell no. Did he need to go gear 5 to beat Lucci? Like, these are the questions you gotta be asking yourself. If anything, right now, the best thing for Gaban is that he did sense the Holy Knights, as I mentioned before, where Luffy didn't. So maybe, if you want to reach, maybe you can try arguing that his observation Haki prowess is greater than any of the Straw Hats. But it may just be some kind of hack-based ability or just flat-out Oda being inconsistent. So I'm sure in time all will be revealed. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I like the chapter.
Alright, boom. So, y'all heard what bro said. I agree with basically the majority of everything he was saying. I don't really have much to disagree on. One of my things I will say, that little glint in Scopper's eyes, I definitely felt like that was kind of him using future sight to see how things could have played out potentially if Zoro and Luffy would have came at him. And to be honest, I don't think they could have defeated him in just like one quick attack. I think he could have held his own. And I think we need to focus on the scale of the attack he launched out and the type of damage that it did. Now, we have to understand this is a giant's castle. So this is, by no stretch of the imagination, small or a normal size castle. This isn't just a regular building. We have to think almost 50 to 100 folds in terms of size. So to slash something like that, and we see it in like scale to the tree, that's a lot of damage. And for Zoro and Luffy to be able to dodge it but redirect it shows a great depth to their ability and where they've grown. And also seeing Luffy be able to go in and out of gear 5 so swiftly and smoothly shows a lot of growth for him. We saw Zoro getting ready to enter the King of Hell mode, and we saw the Haki blooming. This arc is gonna feel like a lot of training. I feel like training moments and experiences with the people they're gonna come into contact with. We just saw Gaban basically testing them out to see kind of where they stand, and he wanted to see where their powers stand to see if, you know, Luffy really could be the person to put Loki back in his place if it came down to it. Because from what we seeing, we know Loki's gonna be a threat, and know he's already is a threat. And I mean, Zoro and Luffy are feeling that from this most recent chapter with their reaction to him just standing up when they got some of the chains off of him. So I'm looking forward to see what's to come from the next chapter. I definitely feel like Loki was the one that started the fire previously on the tree where they had to take the branch off, and I'm pretty sure Scopper was probably the one to cut that branch. But with that being said, yeah, shout out to all Father Silver. Another great video as always, bro. Keep doing what you do. I love your content, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. And if you like this, be sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Check back every week. I will be back posting consistently. So I apologize for last week. I had some wedding pictures to do, and I'm finally done with those. So we're back to consistent posts, and yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.